Thank you very much, Ash, for being here with us today. It's such an honor. Thank you for your time.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yay, amazing. So Ash is the co-founder of Two Tickets Anywhere. It's a blog for digital nomads with over 100,000 monthly readers. And she has been a full-time digital nomad for the last 5 years and works online, traveling to over 30 plus countries. And now she's focused on inspiring and helping others to live, travel, and work from anywhere in the world. So we have a lot to learn from you, Ash. So I cannot wait to dive into this interview. So let's do this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would like
Yeah, let's do it.
amazing. I would like to start this interview by asking you, who is Ashley?
Yeah, I struggled with like answering this because I'm like, who am I? You know?
Right?
Um, but I would say that I'm just an ordinary girl who wanted to live differently. I just wanted to figure out my own path, and that's kind of how we came into this digital nomad lifestyle. I'm a mixed race, so I'm half American, half Filipino, which I feel like has also made me wonder a lot who I am, because I feel like I'm both and none at the same time, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, and yeah, that's who I am.
Sure. And what do you mean by you wanted to live differently?
I guess I just wanted to do something that was different, something that was out of the norm. I didn't want to go to an office every day until it's time to retire and that's it. I
Mm-hmm.
thought there's probably more to life than that. And so yeah, went out looking for it and stumbled upon this nomad lifestyle.
Love that. And how has this multicultural background has helped you in your life in general and in your career?
I think it's allowed me to connect with a lot of different people from a lot of different backgrounds, no matter the culture or anything. I also feel like it's challenged me because I've had to really dig deep and figure out who I am, because I feel like when people ask you, like one of my most feared questions is, where are you from? Because I'm like, I don't know how to answer that, And but it's kind of made me, yeah, face like, who am I? And I can be both at the same time, whereas people probably try to put you in a box.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but I'm both.
Yeah, I can relate so much to this because when I was also a digital nomad, people were asking me like, where are you from? I was like, well, I was born and raised in Barcelona, but I just don't know where I am. I feel like I have a little bit of each country, I'm just a citizen of the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, you carry it with you. Yeah.
100% for sure. And how did you transition from a traditional job to like working remotely? What was that turning point where you were like, okay, this is it, I'm going to go for this?
Well, I think my story is a little bit different because we didn't really have like traditional jobs, I guess. I never went into a corporate office. The only thing I had experience with is internships, and I was at companies, big like marketing agencies,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw, the corporate hustle, the politics, and the hierarchy that goes like that's involved in that. When I was in college, and I thought, I don't know if this is for me. I don't think it really works best for me. And yeah, I just needed to figure out a way to not get into that corporate hustle. And so in the senior year of college, my now husband and I started a digital marketing agency. So we kind of did that knowing that we don't want to work for anyone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that kind of got us into it. And we were working in Sydney in in our own office, and we saw a video of people living this lifestyle in Bali, and we were like, why are we here? We could be over there. We're kind of already working remotely. We don't see our clients face to face, so let's
Mm-hmm.
go.
Yes, I had the exact same feeling. I was working remotely for maybe 4 months from Barcelona, and I was like, what am I doing here? I'm wasting my time. I could literally live anywhere in the world. When I bought a one-way ticket to Turkey, I went there by myself. And then after that, I was like, okay, what's next? And I have to say, it's like addictive, right? Because I was like, oh my God, I can literally live anywhere I want. I have this, privilege that I'm extremely grateful for, and a lot of people have this, flexibility, especially if you work for corporate and stuff. There are like laws, regulations, and there's something that I also didn't want for my life. I had a very clear idea, and I was like, I know that I don't want to work for corporate because I don't like being a number. I'd rather work for like a small company that I did in the past, but now I work for myself, which is, amazing. Everything has its pros and cons, but for me personally, I would also like never change it for anything in the world.
Yeah, true.
And in what ways has the digital nomad lifestyle contributed to your personal growth and development?
I think it has like impacted it in a lot of different ways, business wise, personal wise, and just learning wise. It has. I think one of the ways is that I kind of like to give things a try, even if I fail. So we're in Thailand today, and this month we're in Thailand, and I decided why not try Muay Thai boxing.
I love that. That's so cool. I've tried it too. It's one of my favorite sports. So cool.
I thought, I'm here. Why not? I might not be good at it, but who cares? I'm putting myself out there, and that's what matters. Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't try, you'll never know, right?
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love this mindset.
Yeah.
Amazing. And what skills do you believe that are essential in order to be a digital nomad? Because it's definitely not for everyone. So which skills do you believe that you had or that you have acquired that has helped you to have this lifestyle?
That's a good question. I think ultimately for me it comes down to 3 skills. I think the first skill and the hardest one is discipline. A lot of people think digital nomads are like on vacation, just sitting on the beach and enjoying. But the truth is, actually, I feel like in our experience, digital nomads are some of the hardest working people we know. You have to constantly find the line between working, traveling, and having a social life. You are always, being pulled in different areas, and you have to have the discipline to say no to things and say yes to the right things. So that's one of the things. The second one is time management. I'm still learning this, not at all good at this yet, but hoping to get better.
Not yet, in the process.
Yeah. So I think, the good thing is you are in charge of your time as a nomad and as a business owner. But the bad thing is you're in charge of your time. So you have to be accountable to yourself. You have to learn how to motivate and encourage yourself to keep going. And because no one is going to do it for you while you're traveling or when you're in your business, you have to do that for yourself. And I think the last skill is that you have to like go with the flow. When you're traveling, anything can happen. And so you have to learn how to just go with it, adapt to situations. You don't know what to expect, and you can't really prepare for situations you're like, it's unknown, right? So you just have to be able to take things as they come, accept them, and adapt.
100%. Because like when you're traveling, unexpected things happen all the time, right? It happened to me that I couldn't hop on a flight because they were like, oh, you don't have a ticket to go from like outside of the country. You only have like a one-way ticket, And I was like, I know that this is like #1 traveler's rule, but I live in my Lala land sometimes. And like, oh my God, I have to buy a ticket in order for me to get on that plane, And you have like so many unforeseen circumstances that you just need to like embrace them and find a solution to the problems or challenges that show up, right? Because they will show up because you're literally stepping outside your comfort zone like constantly. And when you step outside your comfort zone, challenges appear, right? But I think it's really important to learn how to go with the flow. And there's something that I had to learn and implement a lot, because I used to be like, I'm still very organized. But before I was like, I had all my life planned, right? And it's like, there's no need to do that. I've learned a lot how to like live in the present moment, because that's all we have. And yeah, it reached a point where I didn't even know where I was going to live in a month from now. I didn't even have an apartment where I was going to live, right? I mean, it's all about finding the balance and see what works for you. Like for me, it also reached a point where I was like, okay, this is like too much, traveling and living in a different country each month. And now I took a break from that. And when I travel again, now I've learned that for me, I rather do slow travel, be 3 months in one country, get to know the country better. Because then, yeah, like you have to be like extra disciplined, because you're like, okay, I'm only here for a month, right, in this country, and I have a limited amount of time here, and I want to see and discover as many things as possible while also working, right? So you need to be like super disciplined, because yeah, people tend to like idealize a lot the digital nomad lifestyle, and it's amazing and it's great, and I feel like if you have the possibility, like everyone should experience it. But at the same time, you need to be super disciplined and know how to manage your time very effectively, for sure.
Exactly.
And which are the most digital nomad friendly countries that you visited, and why? Because you told me that it's your fourth time in Thailand, right? So I'm guessing this is one of them.
Yeah, exactly. It is Thailand. Thailand, we love Thailand a lot. We just feel like you have great food here. We love eating here. You have fast Wi-Fi. So we were nomads in an island in the south for a month, and you can only access it by boat. But while we were there, we were at a co-working space, and we still had a Wi-Fi speed of 600 Mbps, which is like amazing. So it's
Really
a great place.
amazing.
You want fast Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Totally. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a great place that you can get work done and meet people that are doing the same thing as you, because a lot of people do start in Thailand, specifically Chiang Mai. It's kind of like the OG hub and a place we recommend new nomads to go.
Sure. I haven't been, but it's definitely on my list. And the internet speed is definitely very important, because I've been in places where I had to do like magic for the internet to like work, and I was so stressed because I did like a lot of Zoom calls, and I need at least like 30 Mbps, right, at least. And some countries were like 15 or 10, and I was like, I cannot work like this. So then I learned, I was like, okay, before I go to like a specific country or I rent an Airbnb, I would always like text the host and be like, hey, what's the download speed? But that also came with time. I had to go to the hassle of like, oh my goodness, I rented this Airbnb and the internet is shit. What do I do about it, right? So this was a really huge challenge that I also had as a digital nomad, actually. And for you specifically, like, would you rather work from home? Would you rather go to like co-working spaces? And why is that?
For me, I actually love co-working spaces. I feel like I need a little bit of separation between like personal life and business, and a co-working space kind of gives me that. It also allows us to meet like new people that are also doing the same thing, maybe have an interesting business that we can learn from. And yeah, just other people working motivates me to work, seeing other people. So I love that.
100%. And also the fact that you leave your home, you dress up, maybe you put on makeup, but it's just the fact that you're going somewhere else, that you're interacting with people. Like for me, I actually went through a tough time. My mental health was like affected and stuff, because I was very isolated, because I was traveling solo, I was living solo, and I was working solo. And it reached a point where I was like, I just need that interaction, because we are human beings and we need that by nature, right? So then I was like, okay, I started going to like cafes. Every morning I went for a coffee. For me, it's like co-working spaces are a bit more complicated because they do like a lot of Zoom calls. So for me, I'd be like, okay, if I had to do more like admin stuff or send some emails, I can go to a cafe for like 1 or 2 hours, interact with people. But yeah, now that I have a closed office where I can take my Zoom calls from, my quality of life has improved so much. It's been amazing.
Nice.
And what is it like to travel full time and also work with your partner? What would you say are the pros and cons?
there's a lot, a lot of layers, I guess. I love traveling with a partner. I do love it. We can rely on each other, which is some very important for me, because when you're in a stressful situation, when you're traveling, or even in your business, you know, you have someone to count on as well. And the pressure and the burden is kind of shared, which for me is really good. And yeah, it's for traveling full time. We love that we get to see new cultures, meet new people, actually meet like-minded people that are kind of not doing the exact same thing, but they're on their way to building a business as well, I guess. And I think we can also experience things outside of our normal life, like, again, Muay Thai, something that I'm doing apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but there are some cons to it. Like, this life isn't for everyone because you have a lack of stability, which for some people might not, you know, enjoy that. But also, we always have to think about the next place. I kind of find this fun because I love to travel plan, but it's hard to be present and enjoy where you are when you're trying to plan and think of the next place. I find this very hard. And I really want to, because I don't want to think, oh, I'm ready to leave already, like halfway through our month in Thailand or something, you know. I want to be able to say, I'm here for a month, I'm going to be present, and I'm just going to enjoy my day-to-day life here. And it's hard to do that when you have to book your next Airbnb, you have to book your next flight and all that kind of stuff. So that is something that's been hard. And also, constantly meeting new people can get tiring. You know, you have to say hello and say goodbye so many different times, and sometimes you really click with someone and they leave the next week, and it's hard to deal with.
100% agree. And I feel like this for me was the hardest part. And it took so much energy out of me because it's like in some countries that I went to, I had friends and I knew people. And in some countries that I went to, I knew no one, right? And I had to start from scratch, like building relationships. And then it's like, okay, once I had like my friends, then I had to leave, right? And there's a part that I struggled with the most because I was like, I cannot have like really deep connections, right? It's just like something that it's, you know, temporary. And yeah, then I realized like my close friends, the one that are, that I've known for the longest amount of time are my closest friends, right? Those that I met when I was a digital nomad. Yes, I'm still in touch with them, but I don't speak with them as much, right? Because I feel like I didn't have a stronger, a strong enough, you know, relationship with them. So yeah, this was super hard for me too. And with regards to being present, do you apply like any strategies, tools to be more present that you could share with us?
Well, I'm trying to work on it now. So not really, but I think just taking it day by day. I don't want to rush myself. I don't want to think too far in the future. I just want to enjoy where I am, who I'm with, and take it as it is, I guess. Yeah.
And you've shared some of your challenges, but do you want to share any other challenges that you faced as a digital nomad, and how did you overcome them? Like maybe your biggest challenge that you're like, oh my God, I'm so proud I overcame that challenge.
Yeah, I think even though we travel as a couple, like I still feel lonely at times. And that has been a big challenge for me. I have to work harder at maintaining my relationships, which I think is something you have to do as a nomad. Otherwise, it's easy to just have these like fleeting relationships. And I want to have, you know, good friends, close friends that you know, take it to another level. We have been able to do this. We do make an effort to. So one of our friends, Dom, we met him back in 2018 in Bali, and my husband and him connected really well. Like he became a groomsman at our wedding.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the next year. So kind of crazy. They connected really well. And we have made the effort to see him at least twice a year. He's come to us to Vietnam, he's come to Mexico, and we've gone to him in Austria and visited him as well. So I feel like in that way, we've been more conscious. We are, like, as digital nomads, loneliness is going to happen. But we've made the conscious efforts of, you know, treasuring our friendships and making sure that we put our effort in to build them as well. Yeah.
And imagine that you feel lonely sometimes, even though you're like traveling with your partner, right? Which is like, I would say most digital nomads travel solo. So I think it's like even harder. So yeah, I feel like having, like, surrounding yourself by like-minded people, having a community and putting that effort, right? As you said, putting that effort to meet new people. I think it's totally the key for sure. And how do you connect with other digital nomads? You mentioned that the co-working space allows you to do that, but do you use any specific like platforms or communities that you rely
on? One thing we love to do is stay at co-living spaces. They are usually a building with maybe 30 rooms and a co-working space below. And they facilitate events and things like that. Like today, we're in a co-living at the moment. And today they organized a community lunch. So everyone in the co-working had lunch together, got to know each other. So we love staying in co-livings because they organize it for us. The social life, they kind of organize it for us, which is really good. We also look at Facebook groups that are location specific Facebook groups. So Digital Nomads Medellin, Digital Nomads Bali. And yeah, put yourself out there and say, hey, does anyone want to
be my friend? It's like, hi, do you want to be my friend? I've literally done that.
Yeah, you have to.
You have no other option. It's like, I either do that or I stay alone. Okay, I'm gonna do that, you know, for sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
Beautiful. And any other you know, platforms that you use?
So conferences are also really good to meet people. There's a big conference called Bansko Nomad Fest in Bulgaria. I think that happens once a year. There's this really cool one that we are like trying to get to, but the dates never line up. So hopefully we'll get there soon, but it's called Nomad Cruises. And it's literally like,
I know
have
this.
You heard of it?
Yes. I have a friend that went there.
Yeah, so we really want to do that. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think as well, it's just visiting nomad hotspots like Chiang Mai, Bali, Playa del Carmen. These are like, I guess, nomad heavy places where you will find people doing the same thing as you easily.
Yeah, I think that's the key also, because for me, it's like, I started going to like super random countries like Georgia, Albania, and they're like amazing, like paradises. And I encourage people to visit them as a tourist, but not to like live there, right? Because there are some countries that it's great to go there as a tourist with some friends, but if you have to live there solo, it can be very isolating because it's hard for you to meet international people, because not a lot of international people live in Albania, for example, but a lot of international people, of expats, live in Playa del Carmen. I met a lot of, you know, nomads there. So I feel like, yeah, one of the keys is also going to like digital nomad hotspots, because you're going to be able to meet, you know, people from all over the world that have, you know, similar mindset and stuff. That helps a lot. And yeah, like living in co-livings, for example, I lived in a few, and my favorite was the one in Brazil, because we had a gym, a pool, we had breakfast, and it was my family, right? It's like we went all together for breakfast, then we went all together to the gym, and it's like, yeah, they're my family, right? For a period of time, but they are my family. And yeah, staying in co-living spaces, it's great, I think, for sure. And have you found it challenging to maintain relationships with friends and family while constantly traveling?
Yeah, it is challenging, but I think it's worthwhile. I think when you're a nomad, you really begin to see who your true friends are. The ones that will keep in touch with you, the ones that will say, hey, how are you, out of the blue, you know? And as a nomad, you have to fight for those relationships. You have to keep them going. And I think, yeah, we also sometimes we travel just to see our friends or just to see people, not necessarily to see the place or anything like that. It's like a conscious, we're coming and we want to spend quality time with you. And I think that's really
Beautiful.
important. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Just being like, I don't care about the country. I'm coming here for you to spend quality time with you. That's so
Yeah.
beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
And what advice would you offer to someone who is considering embracing the digital nomad lifestyle, but they have fears and there's stuff that is holding them back?
Um, I would say just go for it. The rest will figure itself out. You don't need to have every single list ready. You don't need to have the best backpack. You don't need to have the best, I don't know, packing cubes or anything like that. I think the only thing you need to focus on is building a consistent source of income, so that you can stay on the road,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing is to have a decent laptop and always know where your passport is, because those are probably going to become your two most valuable items on you when you're on the road.
Totally. Your passport and your laptop. For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, one thing that I would recommend is buying air tags. Also, I have one in my suitcases, in my laptop, everywhere, because this way I'm like, okay, I have everything under control.
Yeah,
Oh,
you know where
because
it is.
yeah, it's like for me, I travel with like a carry-on and one big suitcase, but then I also have my purse and then my other bag where I carry my laptop. And I'm like, I feel like I have so many items that,
Yeah.
yeah, just having the air tags in them gives me a lot of peace of mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Just figuring out what you need and then, yeah, going for it. Yeah.
Exactly. And one thing that also helped me a lot and saved me a lot of, time and energy is using travel bags to like
Mhm.
organize. Okay, I'm going to put all the t-shirts in this bag. I'm going to put all the trousers in this other bag. And yeah, it
Mm.
made my life so much easier. Do you use them too?
Yes,
They're the
definitely.
best. I
I have
feel like,
one for my shirts, one for my
yeah,
bottom. Yeah.
totally. This was one of the biggest hacks I'd say. Like it changed my life. Now it's like I
Yeah.
cannot travel without travel bags. It stresses me
Yeah.
out.
And like some of the places we go to don't have a proper like closet. So we actually use it as our drawer,
Yeah,
We
same.
just zip it open and that's it.
Same. I don't
Done.
even took it outside of the bag. I just left the bag there and yeah, it
Yeah.
was my closet. Totally.
Yeah.
Love that. And I would like to ask you about statistics because I know that you did a blog post about that. So how
Yeah.
big is the digital nomad movement in 2023?
It's growing. It's growing a lot since COVID and the remote work revolution. It has like grown quite a bit. And there's about estimated to be 35 million digital nomads worldwide that consider themselves digital nomads. So pretty big.
Wow. I didn't know this number, 35 million digital nomads.
Yeah. Yeah. People that consider
Crazy.
themselves that. Yeah, definitely.
Wow, really big number. I didn't even know. I'm shocked.
Yeah.
And are there any lessons that you have learned that you wish you had known before embarking on this journey?
Um, I think it's one of them is definitely you don't need much. Um, I've only got one suitcase, and I think some people think you need to have this big house, you need to have this expensive car, and all this to have a fulfilling life. And I don't think that's true. With the digital nomad life, we're really content with very little. This minimalist lifestyle makes us more intentional about the stuff we are bringing in and making sure that we remove the stuff that don't serve us anymore. So yeah.
I 100% agree. When I embarked my journey as a digital nomad, I was carrying like so many clothes with me. And it reached the point where I was like, I need to learn how to travel, how to
Yeah.
live with less, because we live with
Yeah.
too much stuff. And then I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I only need 4 t-shirts. Then I can wash them. I need like, I don't know, 4 pants and stuff. And then I learned how to travel and live with less. And now when I came back home, I opened my closet full of clothes. I was like, it gives me anxiety. And I started like throwing things. It was
Yeah.
very like liberating to just like declutter everything, live with less. And it made me realize like you do not need much to live. You just need a roof over your head, a job, and a community of people around you that support you and love you. That's all you need, right? So
I feel like it also makes you more grateful for what you already have.
yes, 100%. This was a really big lesson for me too. Like you don't need much to have a fulfilled life.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I love how we ended this podcast. It was, amazing. We learned so much from you, Ash. It's been such a pleasure to have you here with us. I will be going to Thailand someday. I know we will meet somewhere for sure. There are no doubts. And keep going and keep inspiring people. You're amazing.
You too. Thank you so much for this podcast. I really enjoyed it.
I'm glad. Thank you, sweetheart.